Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SpyParty Competitive League Season 7. My name is Taboshi. I'm joined today by Pwnoob. Hi, Pwnoob.
Yeah, we're gonna be watching the finals, aren't we? We got two matches for you guys. Sauerkraut versus Tabsies from the Copper Division. And then we got some Obsidian finals here too with Adafheyesh versus Dampsquib. I'm
Yeah.
excited about how you feeling.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. I'm looking very much forward to it. Thanks again also to Lazy Bear for hosting and being the observer. We can't do this stuff without you, so thank you very much. All right, so starting things out, it's going to be the Obsidian 2 promotion match of Dampsquib versus Adafheyesh.
Names on screen. You guys can read it as well as we can. Adafheyesh is what we go with, or what I would go with, but we'll call him Ada. It's gonna be good fun. Uh, These guys, it should be noted, both went undefeated against the other opponents in their division, but when it came push to shove, in their previous matchup, Ada did beat Dampsquib. Uh, Ada just shot him every single time he had the opportunity to win that match, so I would say is the slight favorite both in just previous results, but also the head-to-head. That being said, both these players have been playing well recently, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these matches are going to be fantastic. Let's take a look at the picks and bans real quick. So, Dampsquib got the chance to pick first, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Always see balcony bans. Balcony bans seem to be a staple of the SCL at this point.
Yeah, it's unlikely that someone doesn't have a natural advantage on balcony. There's usually a player who's just played a lot more balcony than the other player. Not to mention can be a fairly frustrating map to play if you're not comfortable with it.
Yeah, and even if neither player is particularly comfortable with it, it can, especially in that situation, it can feel like a bit of a coin flip map. So if you feel like you've got a little bit of a lead as far as skill is concerned, and neither of you are very comfortable on balcony, you might just want to ban balcony anyways.
Fish ban Gallery, an interesting ban because Gallery is a pretty neutral map in general. We see restrictions on Tayan and Highrise, and then we're looking at the doubled maps. These are the maps that are going to be played 4 times in total, 2 for Spy, 2 for Sniper. Sorry, not Wrestler. That's the person who sent me the results. The Dampsquib doubled Aquarium. We're going to see a lot of Shark. And Adafheyesh doubled Redwoods. How do you feel about that Redwoods double?
Oh man, Redwoods is always a really interesting double because even though we've had the venue for a long time now, it's not an easy venue to be comfortable on. So if you feel good enough about the venue to double it, it's quite often a good thing.
To finish this off here, if we get there, I mean, in theory, you could win 8 games on all the doubled venues, and the set would be nearly over. But we're gonna have singled Highrise, which was restricted. We didn't have the ability to double it for Dampsquib, and then also Library. For Adafheyesh, we have singled Ballroom and also Courtyard. So some very general maps. Ballroom and Courtyard are gonna be some of those maps that we've seen for a very long time and seen a lot of gameplay on. So this should be fun. We're going to be starting off with the Tayan games, and I'm showing it's going to be Tabsy starting
We're
off.
not playing
Aquarium,
I'm
I
looking at
think.
the wrong thing. We're going to be starting off the Aquarium games, and I'm a bozo.
You were just testing us. That's what you were doing.
Testing.
Yeah.
Alice is spy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
Alice's
it.
spy, indeed. Well, let's get this thing underway. Starting things out with Dampsquib on the spy side versus Ada's sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We'll be doing some Tayan in the future. Incredible bug pass into an actual bug, and I think the shark might have been giving us a bit of cover, but we really should be getting a highlight for that, if not shot. Laser cuts
Getting
onto
those
us,
early bugs are such a big deal, and if they go a little bit unnoticed, then they can be a massive advantage. This one, though, looks like it was probably caught out a reasonable amount because that was not an obvious highlight.
Yeah, so it was really weird actually there from Ada. They had the laser on them, like they had already highlighted them and then came back to highlight them. Like they were trying to hide it or something. But because you already had the laser on them, there's no really hiding. Ambassador comes behind us, but we already have the bug. We are one mission done, and we need 3 more if we're going to be completing missions on Aquarium.
It's always weird in situations like this, especially so early on, because it's not easy to tell how suspicious of Dampsquib Ada actually is.
Yeah, I mean, we see highlights for people going to the bar too. Our seduction target has also copped a highlight into a low light. Interesting
Delegate has been
sniping
sent,
here.
by the way.
And the ambassador is next to us behind Shark. Good news, bad news. We already have the bug. The delegate has also expired. We sent the purloin just a bit too late for it to go off, but not very many people have been to bar. That might actually have been a blessing.
May have been indeed. Out we go to pick up this first flirt, also in conversation with the double agent. So this is a nice high-value conversation to be in. First flirt comes off for 34%.
There is a lot of people hanging out in that back left corner, including Siku as a highlight, but yeah, it's getting worse. There was a half-decent contact for a moment. The later you can do your contacts, the better in some senses. You don't give away these free lowlights, but we really don't want to be doing contact at the end when it's just clear that it could only be us.
Well, here's the contact coming off now that a few more people
Banana
have entered
bread.
conversation. Oh, some unfortunately timed people stepping away there. That gives us a lot of information.
And interestingly enough, because the other suspected double agent was an empty conversation, it could really only be our conversation. And we're the only one who was in that conversation when the banana bread went off who has a highlight. So Dampsquib is in a tough spot here, especially since Adafheyesh didn't lose a sniper game when they played previously, and this is not the cleanest game that Dampsquib's ever had.
A bit of a rough entry into the bar as well. Second flirt brings us up to 68%, but there's only 3 neutral lights and 3 highlights. Everyone else is low lit. Everyone else of consequence anyways.
Here, we are going to need our hands if we're going to be completing missions. If it's going to be a swap, a microfilm, a purloin in the future, we do not want to necessarily have a drink.
40 seconds to play as we step back into conversation with the seduction target. There's that flirt getting finished up in 3. One more mission to go, and it's not going to be a quick one.
Adafheyesh needs to be on their toes. Dampsquib will probably give them an opportunity to shoot, but the shark can give a lot of cover, and so much cover, and sometimes that you can just be behind it entirely. Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Adafheyesh is going to take the shot on Dampsquib before Dampsquib has the opportunity to end up behind the shark at all.
Yeah, that was almost certainly going to be a swap at the end there. There wasn't enough time to do all the inspects. So as soon as they step into statues, the shot comes off. That's a fantastic finish there from Ada. It got a little scary, though. It absolutely did.
Always does. You get to these moments and you go, if this is an AI who's just inconveniently decided to go behind the shark, I'm going to be very frustrated. But he had that early highlight. He had them pinned on what ended up being a mediocre contact, given the information that we had with where the SDA was. I think that was a fairly comfortable game for Adafheyesh, and I think that would be a happy start for
Banana
them as they
bread.
get into their spy.
Ada stepping into the spy side of things versus Dampsquib's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We're getting in the way of Damon from his important duties of standing in the corner doing nothing. What's the plan here? Are we going to time ad window?
It looks like we are.
To note, we call these windows. This is notably not a window, but we are going to do a time ad here anyways, like it is a window. Really, there's no windows on this map, right? Like, the closest thing is the shark aquarium, because it has glass.
It's sort of a window. It's a window to the water.
Huh.
So
A
45
window to
seconds
the
added
soul.
off. 45 seconds added to the top of the match, but problem with that is we've spent all of that time already just doing the time ad itself and hanging out in an innocent conversation. So a little bit of time added for Dampsquib to find some suspects and not too suspicious ourselves, but we've got to get moving relatively quickly. And here we do, stepping into conversation with both the seduction target and the double agent. First flirt is green as well for 51%.
Definitely gonna be looking around here, see if the conversations settle down even more than they have, and maybe get this early contact. Definitely also been eyeing the ambassador both for bugs and fingerprints. They've been to the bar. Adafheyesh has some options here, and even the option of doing nothing. Right, we could just wait for this double agent to be contactable. Instead, we're going to pick up a statue and swap it immediately. Wow,
A
green swap too.
swap is a bold move there for sure. We're going to be able to get a couple of our inspect here, but the big story is this swap that's pending. This could very easily spell disaster for Ada.
Yeah, so the shark was over us, more or less, when we were doing the swap, which means it shouldn't be over who ends up having to do the swap in the future. It should be much higher. So this should be visible when it's... Looks like Twin is being pulled. Potentially, is that the right statue for Twin?
Second green flirt brings up to 97%. There's the statue swap. No reaction from Dampsquib as of yet.
It's kind
Now
of a
sees it.
mid-game swap, and these sort of swaps, you usually don't watch for things like the fade, if notice the swap entirely. It looks like there's a lot of consideration, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty confident that Adafheyesh is definitely one of the few people who could have been at the statue.
One print, two inspects, swap, and 97% on the flirt. So there's a lot of progress in here right now.
And we're
Second print on the
obligated to pick up the
briefcase. This
briefcase,
is
and we're
very,
gonna do so.
very bold.
Yeah, so this is the issue, right? Is for the sniper, Twin, who swapped the statue and we noticed, immediately went to statues. Adafheyesh went to a fingerprintable bookcase and then correctly went and bookcase and then picked up the briefcase. These both are things that AI can definitely do, but it really is stressing the sniper to go, okay, which one of these is actually the spy. To note, Twin going back to statues here really shouldn't be considered another mission, because they should already have their inspects done, and given that we should be eyeing them like a hawk ever since the swap went off, we should already know that. That should be a big concern for the sniper.
Well, that's the flirt done. I don't think Ada can survive another statue visit, though. He's gonna try. Away we
We're
go
doing
to
this.
the statue pad in the back. What's Dampsquib's reaction? It's not an immediate bullet. Did Ada get away with this?
I struggle. You really kind of hope that like a contact will go off and you don't have to take the shot,
5
but it's not
seconds.
happening. You need to shoot
There's
now.
no reaction. Ada gets away with it on the spy side. I can't believe it.
I think there's two things that have gone on here. One is just the activity of Twin has put a lot of pressure, just really hoping that Twin will do a contact here at the end and we don't have to shoot Teal, who is actually the spy. The second thing is this is a championship game. This is where your nerves are the highest, and balancing that is really hard. You go, I don't want to be jumpy. I don't want to just be shooting people willy-nilly because I know that I'm nervous. But like balancing that and going, well, I do need to be shooting people who are completing missions in my face, even if they're doing it subtly and doing it well. You still need to be able to take the shot, and unfortunately, Dampsquib hasn't. It's going to be 2-0 Ada.
And this is a pretty well-known phenomena too, as far as the nerves go. Generally speaking, nerves in SpyParty make you play way more conservative. And when you're used to playing a certain way, you really don't want to be letting your nerves change the way you play because it's going to make you play worse.
I know for me, I like to have a really base aggression that I just have in my gameplay, so that when I slow down to a good speed. For players, and both of these players I think fit this, are very just like regular average players in regards to their pace. And so if they get nervous, if they slow down, they will be slow, both on the spy and the sniper. So I don't feel great about Dampsquib's position, but it's only 2-0. The scoreboard is not actually that bad.
Yeah,
And now they
there's a
can play more
lot of
spy.
time to catch up still.
Let's do it. We're back to Teal. We're back to Mom here, and we're near the Ambassador's start too. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
2 more games of Aquarium. Dampsquib back on the spy side. In conversation with the selection target to open things up. It's a close green test for 51%.
We didn't get an early flirt in either of the last 2 games. This is a very standard opening. You just really want this most of the time because seduction target is definitely the mission that takes the longest to complete. And we shouldn't be getting too much heat for it. There's just so much going on. A lot of people near Ambassador, a lot of people at bar, people going to statues. An early flirt on Aquarium is nothing.
Early flirt basically everywhere is the thing. It's a mission that doesn't give you any heat. It's one that takes a long time, so you want to get it started early. It's basically what we've been referring to as the orthodox opening in SpyParty. Dampsquib, after that, though, heads off to the statue to pick up just the one Inspector mission.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, there hasn't actually been any highlights, including us at the statues. I feel if Dampsquib does get a highlight like they did in that first game, it's going to be very telling because Adafheyesh is being conservative with giving away highlights in general.
Dampsquib went for the second flirt back in the conversation, but as soon as they arrived, section target bailed, so they weren't able to get it. So there's a little bit of time lost for Dampsquib, but it's not too bad yet.
Yeah, I mean 2:30 on the clock, so there's 2 things with Aquarium. One, it's just a really big venue. It's surprisingly big to just get across. But the other thing is these sort of pacing things really help with timer windows.
Oh! A big bug as the Ambassador steps into conversation, but it's a little bit too visible. Ada gets a good look at it, the shot comes off, and it's 3-0, just like that.
You've got to be taking that bug when you get the opportunity most of the time. It's hard to say, especially with a non-moving laser like you'll see on Aquarium, if the sniper is going to be watching here or not. But in this case, Adafheyesh is just ready for it. Really good stuff from both the spy, but particularly the sniper, because that
was a good bug too. That stuff's not easy to see. Just a little bit of hand movement, but Ada was like zoomed right in on it as soon as the Ambassador landed in there. So very good sniper play from Ada.
Yeah, and I think you got to take that play. I don't think Dampsquib should feel bad about that. You just got to take plays, you got to make good plays, and if you make enough good plays, you should hopefully get a few spy wins. You are going to need at least one, because you've already given away one in the first time you sniped. Now you get your second attempt here with Ada on spy, Dampsquib sniping in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Where are we going? Nowhere. The answer was nowhere. This is a nice empty conversation, and we're just gonna have a nice little chat with people we don't particularly care about. All the ladies are showing up. It's a hen night out here.
Worth noting too, this is Dampsquib's double.
Ooh. Yeah, you do not want to be losing your double 3-0. That is rough because the next map that we're gonna be playing is not your double. It's Redwoods, if I recall.
Yeah. So definitely not the start Dampsquib was looking for, but Ada really putting on a show so far. Section target drops into the conversation next to Ada instead of the other way around, able to capitalize with a close 34% flirt. Also in conversation with the double agent, so this has become a very high value conversation to be in.
This is one of the small things that you can do is just hang out in a conversation. If we didn't stand in that conversation with Orange Sorry at the beginning of this, we definitely wouldn't have seen this conversation fill up. Unfortunately, now we're leaving it as it was getting to its peak potential. There is a full empty conversation, though. A contact would be crazy.
Yeah. And double agent winds up stepping away from it either way as we step into the green bookcase to kill a little bit of time. That book is going to go right back where we found it, and now we have to figure out what to do next. It's probably going to be another flirt as we make our way around the party. Indeed, it is. This one green for 85%, so we're not going to have to pay too much attention to our positioning for the last one.
I like a bunch of highlights just keep on going back to statues. We got Red Dress and Disney, and I believe also Salmon. No, they're just at the bar, but like the characters that we already had as suspicious continue to do suspicious things. Ada is going to get a highlight here, and they'll join that club, though.
So Ada at the statues here not only gets the highlight, but also a pair of inspects to go with it.
So,
No mission completions as of yet. Still a minute and 45 to play.
if our double agent would chill in the conversation, that would be great. We can head over there for the contact. We can head to our seduction target. We can head to statues. We have all the options, but we don't have as much time as we'd like to do them.
It looks like it's going to start with the flirt. Minute and 30 seconds left to play as we get that mission done. So that's one squared away. Second should be the contact fairly quickly here. Third will be the inspect. Where's the fourth mission coming from? Actually, second is going to be the inspect, it seems.
Yeah, just trusting the double agent to stand there with a minute left on the clock. If the double agent leaves, they might never ever come back to conversation, and we'll need to find something else to do. And we've kind of taken away the ability to do inspect swap. Don't know why I cursed it. I apologize to our poor spy, but I
It's
think
okay,
that the
it's a
food.
replay, it's not real.
Okay, this doesn't happen live. We're good. They can't yell at us. But without inspect swap on the table, completing missions here is going to be a lot harder. We can't just go inspect swap at the end of the game. It would not give us 2 missions. We've already done one of those. It's like trying to bug when you already have the bug in your pocket. It's like, doesn't work.
And the double agent spent a while first at statues, now at bookcase. We're into the beat peeps, and the DA is unavailable. There's a delegate getting sent to the bar to try to get that mission done, but the last one was supposed to be the double agent, and they are away without leave. 10 seconds. It's gonna be the bug. It's gonna be desperation. The bug does take. Mission win pending. 5 seconds. There's the countdown. There's the shot. Dampsquib gets on the board. It's 3-1.
Any concerns I had about nerves have just been immediately quelled. Cool as a cucumber. The bug happens after 10 seconds, so you don't need to shoot for that. But even then, like the purloin also hasn't happened until just right before overtime started. And that laser just cool as you like comes over and takes a shot on Ada. Dampsquib. Maybe not confident about that shot, but definitely just playing it really smoothly. I really like the way that they ended that game as sniper.
Yeah. Yeah, Dampsquib definitely settling into things from the sniper side. You would like to have done that the game earlier, as it was your double, but as long as you're starting to get into the swing of things, that's what you need in match play. Dampsquib now stepping onto the spy side of Ada's double of Redwoods in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Hello, Smallman.
Yeah, Dampsquib hasn't actually had the ability to win a spy game against Adafheyesh this season. Now through like 7 or 8 games. So Smallman on Redwoods is a good way to do that potentially cheekily. Smallman very powerful because of their height, but it's also powerful because of that quick time ad. We were at that fireplace and we were able to get out of there really quickly because he also has short arms.
Yeah, so that's 45 extra seconds to play with and a 51% flirt at the bar.
Where are we off to next? We do have our seduction target and double agent again in this set in the same conversation. So we've been given that opportunity for both players almost every single time the double agent's gone into conversation, to be real.
A decent briefcase redirect, and into that high-value conversation we go. Not too close to the seduction target, so we're not going to be able to two-flirt this, even though we would like to. It's just a white test anyways, so even if we were in position, it wasn't going to happen. We do still have the double agent to play with here, though.
Yeah, the conversations are actually quite full, but unfortunately the suspected double agent is out, and Dampsquib shouldn't have much reason to be able to identify that, so if the contact does come off here, it will actually just be pretty much self-framing.
Yeah, it would certainly be unfortunate.
It's fallen apart a bit here, the party's spread out, but our delegate timer has also expired. We're actually looking fairly inactive so far, and this is a way to solve that problem. JK,
Yes.
we're not even going there, we're just redirecting again.
Suddenly a little bit behind the clock, the seduction target drops in to say hi, and we desperately chase, but can't really justify chasing him to a statue, so we drop off at a window pad instead. You
That was
can't
an attempt.
bug with the drink in that hand, sir!
Yeah, that was an attempted bug if I've ever seen one, but instead of the bug coming off and being poor, it's simply just we failed to ever trigger the bug, mainly because we had a drink in our hand.
I think he had a go at a wrong arm just by the way the pathing was going, but it didn't wind up happening. There's the third flirt coming off, so the seduction target is successfully seduced. That's one mission down, minute and 40 to play, so the time is absolutely starting to tick away here.
Yeah, good news, bad news. Bad news is everybody's outside of the conversation, so the contact isn't looking great. The good news is because they're going to bar and statues, and potentially are going to get themselves shot. We're doing this play again, so I don't remember who did it previously, but going to the place the ambassador was at, getting something that is going to be fingerprintable, and then also having the briefcase under our feet is a good way to get one or two fingerprints, depending on how smudged they are.
It's also a decent way to get shot, to be fair, but...
Oh, to note, the ambassador didn't have a drink from that visit. They went to the bar like they were thirsty, and then looked at all the options and went, I really don't want tequila. Why do you only have tequila? So, only one fingerprint here. We might be able to get another one here. Nope, ambassador still really doesn't want tequila, but really wants a drink.
So, that is one print off of the briefcase. We've got the flirt done, and we've got 40 seconds left. We have to move really quickly, and the contact is the way to do it. There it comes off. Are we able to get a bug here? We are able to get a bug here.
Oh, come on. Sniper just doesn't respect us.
Absolutely no respect at all. The shot comes off freaking immediately.
What are they looking at here? I'm looking at the replay here, about 32 seconds. And they just really don't trust Smallman. I'm not sure what precisely they saw. I know Dampsquib was going for these like redirects to like try and bait out a low light, but you don't low light Smallman on Redwoods. And then just I mean we didn't do much, right? Like we had one fingerprint, seduce, contact, and we were unfortunately near the ambassador there. But like the reason for shot here is actually pretty soft. It's just we were the spy and we were the most suspicious person in SpyParty.
Yeah. There was a neat little
prints just like we did, right? At bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially. And then just the
Yeah.
ambassador being nearby and just the timeliness or lack thereof of the contact, but I mean either way, we like correct shots and we like big leads here. It would be nice for us to have more games. I would appreciate a comeback here from Dampsquib. But Adafheyesh up 4-1, I believe.
I just want to highlight there was a neat little move in the end of that last game where Dampsquib tried to fake a banana split where he did the contact and then immediately delegated, but then he immediately got shot. So there you go. Ada stepping into the spy side versus Dampsquib sniper, back on Redwoods once more in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to find out what precisely triggered that shot. I mean, the idea of this play, the banana and then purloin delegate sort of play is very telling if you happen to be watching specifically that and only that. And on Redwoods, you really only can be looking at one or two things at a time. This quick book, by the way, I'm interested to see where it goes. It's kind of hard to get away with a transfer microfilm on this venue because the front-facing bookcases are so obvious, but we have the blue bookcase, so it's going to be a memory check for the sniper going, this doesn't really belong here because I feel like I would have highlighted you if you went to the middle statues or the middle bookcase.
Absolutely. Getting that really early book pull, even if you do just walk it over to a different bookcase and read it there, looking as inconspicuous as possible, if the sniper doesn't actually see you walk up with that book, it's very possible to assume you just picked it up there. And even if they do, again, it's how certain am I that it didn't come from here?
I think so far
Banana
the
bread.
seduction targets have come to the spies more than the spies have gone to the seduction targets. We've had
Oh,
some
this hurts though. That's a
incredible luck.
fake contact in with an SDA.
Into a split, so like if it's seen, it's super suspicious. This is an old play of mine if you do the banana bread right after. Okay, or not. We're just taking a little pit
Here's
stop.
the transfer.
We're not high lit. This should be suspicious that we're going
This
to
is
it.
entirely behind a tree so far.
Are we gonna get away with 2 inspects too then? No.
Yeah, we did get the transfer. We did get the 2 inspects. I don't think Dampsquib got much look at that book at all. I think that microfilm was entirely clean, and that highlight is just for the inspects. We also just finished up our flirt, too, so we've been getting progress while we've been chatting away about other things going on. So this flirt's done, microfilm's done, 2 inspects in the books, and we've got that one weird fake contact.
Yeah, I think going to statues here and then inspect swapping is like the obvious play for Ada, but they're gonna get shot here. Not even for the swap, but just because we also have the contact.
Yeah.
We might have more heat on the microfilm. Dampsquib has shown some patience or too much patience in their first loss, but we've kind of incriminated ourselves more than we necessarily had to.
More than we knew we did as well. With the unfortunate contact in with the SDA, Dampsquib able to answer back from the sniper side. And back to the spy side of Redwoods they go in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think I've lost more. Like, I don't allow mission wins very much as a sniper. I like shooting people, so spies don't get to have that much fun. But I feel like I've lost to Salmon on Redwoods so many times because the dude just kind of blends in. He's just a boring, not particularly strong, not particularly watchable character, and as a result, this is the sort of character who can get away with a lot, despite being, maybe the tallest character in the game.
So back we go to a nice orthodox opening, 34% on that first flirt out in front here.
Dampsquib keeping the ambassador on screen. We might be looking at cheekiness. Nope, it's just going to be the ambassador walking by and no bug potential.
Always sad when the double agent looks like they're dropping into the conversation to say hi, and then they pick up a briefcase and leave.
It's also the worst thing, right? Like, one, they're not in your conversation, but also they're the one picking up the briefcase, and so that's not someone getting shot for completing fingerprints. There can't be the spy, so it's
Yeah.
really worst case scenario.
Well, a little bit of a timer flirt to make up for lost time. A second white test brings us up to 68%.
Ambassador going to the
Banana bread.
case here. This
Fake
fake is
contact, actually.
this might work out quite well. It's kind of hard to expect.
Especially with the SDA in conversation here.
Banana bread.
This is gonna work
Oh,
out
and
really
then
well.
the double agent drops in to say hi, and we take the real one.
Yeah, but like all the people that we had low lit from the first contact are the same people who were low lit from the second contact. And so you've just made a lot more noise. You made it harder for the situation to be read, while also completing the mission and not losing any particular alibis. As I was saying before being rudely interrupted by banana breads, Ambassador did go to Green Book, so that's a place where microfilm, fingerprint, and inspects can all be done. If anybody goes and picks that up, once the fingerprint is returned, it's going to be a hard thing not to shoot for.
Absolutely. So that's the flirt done, that's the contact done, and into the bar we go to see if we can get some delegate shenaniganry on deck. 1 minute to play.
Again, it's just a really clean party here from Adafheyesh. He's not highlighting for things like statues, and so as a result, we actually just have nobody highlight. Adafheyesh has not found the spy or anybody they think is the spy so far.
Ah,
There's
very
Queen picking up
interesting
the-
situation. Usually, you see people use highlights to keep track of one thing or another, be it bar or statues. But in this case, nothing to be seen from the highlight side of things.
Okay, and we need a game plan if we're going to be completing missions. If they're not
We
going
don't
to be
need a game
shooting...
plan. We need a move on. There's the delegate going off, and it looks like it's going to be a swap to finish this out.
Okay, and
A
hopefully
little
the
bit late,
delegate
though.
covers for the... Did it not go off?
It's going to be overtime at least. There's the swap. We've got pending, but it's not going to happen. The shot comes off. Ada's absolutely on top of things. And they get one more. Current scoreline is 5-2.
We had to take that swap. Time was running out. But there was a bit of hope there that like the Purloin could cover for the swap, that it would be timed better. Unfortunately, our seduction target beat our delegatee, Kane, to the bar, and so the Purloin never went off, and so just the swap was just being watched fully with no other distraction. And again, Adafheyesh takes another sniper win against Dampsquib. That's been every game so far in this set, and they still every game this season. Dampsquib has not found a way to break through.
Yeah. And once the delegatee gets beaten to the bar, unfortunately, you don't have the luxury of waiting for that shot to come off because there's 5 seconds left in the game. So, what are you gonna do? Adafheyesh stepping in to the spy side for our final game of Redwoods versus Dampsquib's Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Cerveza in our hands, but that won't stop us from going and picking up a green book here immediately, and potentially getting some inspects here too. It looks like Orange Sorry might ruin us on the left one though.
Indeed, indeed. So, one cycle at the bookcase gets us one inspect. I don't think
Limits
you're
our
allowed
options.
to one cycle the books on your first pickup, actually. So that's interesting to keep in mind, but I don't think was noticed. Flirt from the center conversation here gives us 51% as well, and immediately stepping away from bar. So this is a whole lot of movement from Adafheyesh.
Yeah, for anybody who's new to SpyParty, when we're talking about cycles, we're talking about animation cycles. When it comes to book reading, that's going to be like page turns. These conversations are incredibly full. Contact here is going to come off, and it's going to be really good. I think that's actually perfect, right? It's just the ambassador out, and the ambassador doesn't matter.
That's everybody.
That is the best contact that you'll ever see, because everybody's been credited, and the ambassadors come next to us. We've seen this been punished previously, almost the exact situation. We're sending the ambassador with the
Delegating
delegate.
to the ambassador. That's
If
a
it comes,
fun move.
yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, right? Like, even if it doesn't come off as a purloin, you've added a fingerprint to the game. But it is going to come off, and let's see what Dampsquib has. Are they watching the ambassador going to bar? Do they remember who's been at bar? We need to see
Yes,
a
they
reaction.
do.
That's a reaction and a half. That's the biggest reaction you
Absolutely
can
it
do.
is. That was an amazing catch from Dampsquib. You love to see it.
I think because the ambassador was near us, right? We actually could have completed missions if you're not 100% confident on what this spy's been up to, right? We've got contact, we've got purloin. If we green tested both of these flirts, we could have been done with flirt, and the ambassador was more or less inside of us at a point, so we could have also have had the ability to bug. That's 4 missions. This is actually a really timely shot from Dampsquib, despite being a minute 40 left of the clock and the spy actually only having 2 missions done.
So, a bit of a rough start from Dampsquib on their double, but they've managed to pick things up and go blow for blow with Ada since then. But we're done with the doubles now, moving on to Highrise, any 3 of 5. This is going to be a big change of gears. Dampsquib on the spy, Ada on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, when we talk about maps like Aquarium or Redwoods, there really are no equivalent maps because they're so unique. That being said, if you had to, you'd probably say that those 2 maps are the most similar to each other. Highrise 3 of 5 is not that. Highrise 3 of 5 is going to be a tense situation where an AI is quite likely to get shot. You can literally do nothing and expect to win the game a decent amount of time. You can finish very quickly because there's only 3 missions, but we generally see Highrise 3 or 5 games go very long because everything is so watched. It's hard to do something and expect to not be seen entirely, which has not necessarily been the case in the last 2 venues.
Yeah, this venue is generally very slow, very methodical, very a bug. Nope, not a bug. Just it looked very much like a bug. He just didn't right click.
That's what I'm talking about, though. If you did that on Aquarium or Redwoods, and you did that sort of path, congratulations. You just got a highlight. You just got a bullet. On Highrise,
And
you
in the
can
red.
see the laser there. You can see they're watching, and you can take this path. And you know that the sniper will not give you the credit for the bug because it's the only thing that they're watching. Because there just isn't as much distraction. There isn't as much cover.
So 34% on the flirt, now 85% on the flirt after that green test there. 2 minutes still to play. We've also
Adafheyesh,
got the one inspect from the start of the game.
yeah, Adafheyesh has been like very conservative with their highlights, and it's interesting. But they're giving away lowlights, like their candy. Just Disney just standing in conversation. Orange, sorry, just not doing anything. Just doesn't feel like the spy or a small etiquette thing that Adafheyesh has caught that he doesn't believe Dampsquib would be doing. So we're gonna have a trimmed down party here before the end of it.
This should finish up the inspects as well. Ah, we hit a red test, but we only need 2 of them, so this should still be fine. Indeed it was. Minute and 15 still to play to get a flirt and something else. It's gonna either be the purloin, the contact, or the bug, that 3rd mission.
Like the path there from Dampsquib, getting quite far away from the seduction target and not just heading barrel and head first into this conversation. So this good small little plays. We're gonna need to do good small little plays. And we're gonna need to do big play. Purloin is an option. Wow. Okay.
That's just a bullet. I don't know quite what happened there.
Did we make Toby wait? No, not really. 5 seconds is just on the long end, but it's fine. We definitely didn't have contact. We definitely didn't have Purloin. So
Huh.
I think it's just Adafheyesh just going, well, it's nobody else, and I don't really want to wait around, because the only other option there for the 3rd mission was bug, and I just don't see how
And in the
we're
red.
being credited for bug in this game so far. Duke is
Well,
kind of an
either
ass.
way, it absolutely worked out.
He did
Yeah.
a fake BB. Unfortunately, SDA was in for it, so that's.
Oh,
Ah, I didn't notice SDA
Yeah,
was in.
I forgot about it.
I didn't notice the fake BB.
Uh,
Well, I would have won that game anyways because I would have held the shot and then shot him later. But I think the fake BB and mission counting it also works out. Dampsquib just trying to find a line to beat this player, but he's struggling so far. Adafheyesh has just been so solid. And now Adafheyesh is playing Smallman, though this is not a particularly crazy Smallman map. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
There are a lot of serious shenaniganry you can get away with as Smallman, although on this venue it's a lot harder to do that stuff, just because
Smallman
everything is so closely watched.
is my favorite character to go stand behind Damon. It's a classic strategy on a few venues where the sniper doesn't move much, you can just go stand behind Damon. It does have a major downside of it's really hard to complete missions when you're behind Damon, but it is very funny. I do believe we have seen it in competitive too from someone like Banana Conda, I believe, has pulled it out despite not really having too much competitive value.
So 51% off of a green test off the top of the map. Really just getting quite snuggly with the ambassador for a while there, but nothing winds up coming of it. We still have this book in hand, but microfilm is
Come on.
off.
We're doing reads here over the briefcase. We're getting tricky now. Both players just insisting they're playing Smallman to try and look as AI-like as possible, for better or worse.
So So there's the second flirt, which brings us up to 68% rather. Also in conversation with the
And the end of
double
red.
agent, and the contact comes off. So that's one mission done, and 68% on the flirt. There's a bug on the way through conversation back to the blue bookcase. It was a surprisingly AI-like path. At least it can look like it sometimes because spies are so loath to walk straight through conversation, but there was no reason for an AI to take that path, so the shot comes off, and Dampsquib finds one over Ada there.
I think what happened there is he went, well, I didn't see the bug, so I don't want to shoot for it. Thought about it for a bit and went, no, but that path and mission counting. Really good stuff, and I think this is a good lesson for other players, other snipers, is you have 10 seconds. And we took that shot 9.7 seconds after the bug happened. So you can take your time and think about it and make sure that you're making the right decision. I wouldn't wait necessarily a full 10 seconds. It's hard to count, but you'll run into issues where the game will just end in your face. But really good stuff here from Dampsquib, and their sniper has been just this really patient, solid wall, except for that one game they lost. But one game that you lose is the lead right now.
Yeah, if Dampsquib can find a way through on any of these spy games, they are right back into things. Starting with Ballroom versus Ada's Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, and our selection target is again gonna settle down and be fairly kind. Early purloin here from Dampsquib.
Very early purloin indeed. Very early green purloin of 28% on the first flirt, but that is not the story of the day. Immediately, the purloin gets taken. It's behind a pillar. I don't think Ada's seen it yet. Now they have. What's the reaction to this? There is no reaction to this yet. Now we're starting to see a few lowlights.
Where even if you see Kane take it, it feels like someone did a chaos purloin, and you really can like maybe get a few lowlights on people who were at statues at the very beginning of the game. But this is such a powerful thing to have. Return it, return the list, do it. Okay, we're just taking the innocent drink.
That would be truly hilarious.
I mean, I don't think anybody except for me has like returned multiple lists in SCL. Like I think that might just be me, and like maybe like Minty Rug did it 3 times in one season when she was in for a season
And the end of
or two.
red.
This contact's not going to be great, to be honest. Just our conversation doesn't have too many people. There's just a lot of people walking about. Dampsquib didn't look around the party before taking it. A bit of due diligence, I think, needs to be done there. Even if it ends up being good contact, you should at least be looking around and confirming it.
Yeah, I think it kind of felt like Dampsquib was caught between a rush and trying to slow down, and kind of decided to do both at the same time, and it didn't work.
I would have liked the bug out of it too. Like you do that contact and then just take the bug. But I think they might have white tested it if my memory serves. So we're actually kind of running low on time. Seduction target is next to us in conversation, but we're only 28%. And we only have less than 90 seconds left on the clock.
And they don't hit a green test, so it's gotta be a green to finish this up in 3 minutes and 15 to play. It's a scary situation all of a sudden.
It's a scary situation with the sniper too. Just these early purloin and contact just means that anybody going to middle statues, anybody doing anything in particular, is a potential person that could get shot if you just don't have the track on the purloin. And we feel like we don't. We took a few lowlights, but there still is not a single highlight in this game.
Not able to hit the difficult fingerprint either, which leaves them with 45 seconds left to play. Has to be a green flirt, has to be another mission. It's going to be a fake contact trying to bait out a shot, but I don't think Ada's gonna bite. There's the flirt. It's not green. It's 79%, so he's got to leave this conversation and find a way back in later. 30 seconds. We're into the beep beeps now.
think this might be paying off. I think they really don't have a great grasp on this party, but because the spy hasn't finished, oh, that's disgusting. Like
That
bad
hurt me
disgusting.
physically.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was.
Just
Yucky.
Yep. Just shoot. Thank you. Oh God.
I don't think Adafheyesh had a great grasp on that party. I think that was stressing them out a lot. But their natural decision to go, well, I'm just gonna make the spy beat me, uh, paid off dividends because eventually Dampsquib, because of not hitting any green tests in their flirts, and just not really seeing an opportunity to get a cheeky bug, uh, ends up showing their hand, like literally.
Yeah. On the other hand of things, though, he was able to lowlight like half the party from those two contacts. That's a lot of lowlights that didn't have to be given up. And if there were more people as available suspects, it's quite likely Ada's not able to hold that shot.
I mean, this game isn't live, and if it was live, they wouldn't be hearing us anyways. But I think the big thing that Dampsquib needs to do is they need to get away with two things. I think they got away with the Purloin, but they need to do one more. Because getting away with one thing, they've done a few times now, and I'm sure they did in their previous sets too. But Adafheyesh is shooting them every time for it. They need to do two not bombastic, that's just completely the wrong word, but like fantastic things. They need to do two awesome things to win a game, and they've just done one. Like this quick purloin is good, but you need to find one more trick, and I think you'll get the win pretty consistently if you can do that twice in
So
one game.
the thing is, you don't even have to that second thing you're talking about doesn't even have to be a mission. It could just be good, solid, deliberate pacing throughout the rest of the game that gets you your soft tails without putting too much suspicion on yourself. They always wind up in such a difficult position on the spy side, not because of the sniper, because of the clock.
Yeah, I mean, like even like a difficult fingerprint, just like making a way that someone else is somehow more suspicious than you. There's a ton of options. SpyParty is a playground of options, but you need to find them, and I think both players have really struggled with finding them on the spy side. But Adafheyesh has found them at least once, and that's the difference here. Now Adafheyesh moves on to the spy side themselves, and Ballroom is definitely a playground. They might be able to get another one here. It's a real 50-50 map, so let's do it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Ballroom looks like one of the most simple and open venues the game has, but it's actually one of the more complicated to play well from both sides just because of this low sniper angle creates so much occlusion, but occlusion from other partygoers.
Yeah, the pillars are like surprisingly annoying on this Ballroom too, but it's really the party goers that make this party unique.
So it's an early 51% off the flirt, and immediately Ada stepping away, in conversation next to the ambassador, but not close enough to be dangerous.
I think if you're gonna do this, it would need to be a contact into the bug or something. You need to make a little play, and it wouldn't actually work out particularly well because the suspected double agent would have framed us.
Ada more than willing to move very quickly here. That was a very quick conversation entry, white flirt up to 85%, and immediately step away into the conversation with the double agent in it. So, certainly not minding their manners.
But when I talk about something like Dampsquib just needs to get away with two different things, this might be something that could be considered one of those two things. Just if Adafheyesh comfortably gets to finish flirt because they did a cheesy flirt earlier in the game, that might give them the extra 10-20 seconds to be able to actually do a good finish at the end, instead of having to just take a bug that you don't really want to take. Uh, these sort of plays do add up.
So we've spent quite a while here just hanging out in this conversation with the double agent, waiting for conversations to fill up a little bit more. And they have, but it's just still a little bit too awkward. So instead of taking the contact, Ada is going to step over to finish this flirt up with 1:30 left to play. So a lot of that time advantage is suddenly gone.
Hoping we do Purloin bug contact there real quick, but Instead, I think Adafheyesh is just kind of committing to a slower game. I don't really know why. I haven't seen anything that says that Dampsquib's going to be
It's a
shooting.
bug on the way out of
Yeah.
conversation. Dampsquib is on top of it. It was a very tempting position to try something in, but there was just no cover.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think a contact there to cover for it would generally be a good idea, especially because you're in a conversation with only two people, and it's unlikely that you get framed for it. Unfortunately, one of those people was also the SDA, so it actually wouldn't have worked out very well anyways. But uh, this sort of play here, it felt kind of pushed by the clock. We're just looking at a minute left with only one mission done. It felt like we kind of felt obligated, and when you're in that sort of spot where you feel obligated to do something, it never goes well.
That's one of the big differences between the good spies and the great spies. The great spies in this game have so little downtime. It seems like every time they land in a pad, they're either in with the seduction target, they're in with a DA, they're at a statue, they're getting progress. It doesn't have to be a lot of progress. It doesn't have to be big plays, but they're getting stuff done all the time. And that's just something that's very difficult to get under your hands from the spy side of this game.
Yeah, me and Lazy Bear will stand for Ryu's spy for no particular reason. But the big reason I think comes down to precisely this. Even when they're not in a conversation like particularly doing something, every decision is defensible. Every decision as a caster, I find very easy to go, okay, this is clever, this is correct, this is smart. Because you can't just be standing and doing nothing in particular, if it isn't in some way beneficial to you. Otherwise, why are you not just doing something that is beneficial to you? Um, and both these players really are showing proficiency on sniper. We're seeing a true sniper party here. Library is not going to be the place where Dampsquib's looking to necessarily get a spy win. It's pretty rough, and they need one. So I'm interested to see. They've hit general as their choice, which is a good start. But let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
It's a difficult situation indeed, because ever since that little bit of a rocky first game on the sniper side for Dampsquib all the way back in Aquarium, they have been just playing it back and forth from the sniper side all the way down, shot after shot after shot. Neither of them have found a way through, but Dampsquib, because he started behind, is the one who needs to find a way through.
Struggled on maps that are like pretty spy favored relative to the rest of the pool. Ballroom, Redwoods, Aquarium, these are places spies, and Highrise, are all places that spies can expect to get a win once in a while. If not half the time, depending on what we're talking about. The thing is, neither of these players have really looked like they're going to be hitting that rate, and this is Library. This is do 5 missions. This is like you need to get away with murder to win on Library, which isn't necessarily the case on the other venues.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation indeed.
Okay, 25% on the flirt, and we're in that lovely spot where the ambassador isn't necessarily going to leave, just because we're standing on their toes, but we are able to bug. So we can stand here for a bit and hope that the laser goes away for a moment before the ambassador leaves. Unfortunate for us.
Yeah, it's a slow start from Dampsquib. You can't afford to be slow on this venue. There's so much to get done. We are able to grab a print off of this drink, so that's certainly something, but you just need to be moving faster than this, I feel like.
We eat the highlight. For someone who's been so conservative with their highlights throughout the whole set, getting the highlight presumably here for the fingerprint is just rough. Damp Squib's getting a lot of heat for not much mission progress.
And there's the second flirt, which is luckily a green to bring us up to 76%. We've got the contact coming off
Banana
as
bread.
well. But with 2 minutes and
start of the party.
15 seconds to play, and that's our first mission completion,
Banana bread.
we need to move so fast.
Was that an attempted purloin, but we have a drink in hand or something?
I think it may have been an attempted bug and just got caught out on action priorities.
Yeah, either way, Dampsquib did not seem particularly happy about it. They were doing spins. The whole, from the sniper's perspective, right side of the party was low lightable on like the first banana bread, and then we gave him a second one to make sure that it was. So Dampsquib is again in a tough spot, and given that we took the highlight for doing the fingerprint in the first place, ooh, good little bug. Not good enough, but good little bug.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Wow, okay.
And that puts Ada on match point.
Yeah, I mean, the ambassador was being stared at that whole game, but when you've given your opponent 12 lowlights, you do make looking at you a bit easier.
Yeah, you absolutely do. That was just a rough game from Dampsquid on the spy side. It felt very stunted. It felt very forced. Nothing really went their way, and they weren't able to smooth out those rough edges. So that puts Ada on match point. Dampsquib needs 3 in a row to force it to sudden death. Let's see if they can get that first one on the library. From the sniper side, mind you. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Sniper has been very good this whole set. The players have looked pretty equal, but the snipers have always prevailed, and this is library, so I'm confident Dampsquib can win this one. We're going to be moving into courtyard after this if Dampsquib can snipe this out, and courtyard's always an interesting talk. We got 51% flirt, and pretty standard start here as the time ticks on in library.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a flying start, but this is the kind of thing you usually see. Step into conversation with the selection target, grab 51% on the flirt if you can, wait 15 seconds while you figure out where to go next, and then start to get moving. Unfortunately, the place that Ada went to was a window pad so they could go get another flirt. Do get the flirt done in 2, though. So that's nice to see.
That's one I want to snicker about. That's very much like a 5 to 10 second cheesy flirt. That is the cheese that is just melting, and you're like, okay, maybe I should deal with this.
Innocent drink take, and Ada immediately steps away to go find something more productive to do. It might just be a time ad here from this back window.
Yeah, the laser's sitting on us, just asking us, please don't. And Adafheyesh behaves.
Yeah, but that's time wasted instead of time gained, and now we're in another innocent conversation. Ada feels like they're floundering a little bit on the spy side as well here.
Yeah, when it comes to the map of library, the big thing that you want to do is do things where the sniper isn't, and the sniper is going to be where the ambassador is or where Toby is. Right now, we are off screen, but there really isn't that many options. Unless we're going and picking up a statue and dropping it real quick, we're probably going to get seen with whatever we do, because the only real thing that we have over here is time ad. Maybe a
Well,
quick pull from blue?
No, just standing there and taking it slow, getting noticed like a normal person. This is just really, really slow. I think Ada is banking on Squib taking a shot they don't want to take. But as I say that,
We're trying to do the thing that I said that they should do, but now Toby's on this side. Like, I understand the idea, the intent, because I mean I literally laid it out myself. But you gotta do it when it's not when they're not like literally waiting for purloin to happen.
yeah. And then also it was a red test and they walked away from it while the blink was still going, and it was not a good
You
time.
may as well clank it. Just go drop the statue, make the loud noise, spook them into making the wrong decision.
2 more to go. Dampsquib, this is their last chance to get through on the spy side. This time, Courtyard. It's still not a very spy-friendly venue. Let's see if they can get away with something in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Respectfully disagree, and because my competitive career is over, I'll say it. Time ads are good on Courtyard. Early time ads particularly so.
Yeah, I
Uh,
completely agree.
But if you don't do that, it feels really restrictive. And if your opponent is waiting for time ads, it can feel pretty rough. Because the fourth mission's hard. You can get flirt, you can get contact, those haven't changed much. And specs are actually easier than they are in most venues. But what's your fourth mission gonna be if you're gonna be completing missions? If you're not completing missions, how the heck are you framing somebody? What
The
are you doing to
sniper
make
angle is just so high that it's almost impossible to get away with stuff in this venue because there's just no cover except for that center statue.
Yeah. And the person who's been making like the clever plays, like the quick little plays, beyond that like early purloin that we saw from Dampsquib has been Adafheyesh. So I feel like for Dampsquib, they need to find someone they haven't really done much this set. Um,
You
or
know what they
something
haven't really
very
done much
Banana
this
bread.
set? Flirts. They don't have any flirts right now. We were able to get the contact done, but it's 2 minutes to play and we don't have a single flirt yet. There's the first one, but it's because the seduction target came to us and they were across the venue, so even a green test was only 25%.
I have a suspicion, and I haven't really talked to Dampsquib about it. I feel like they might not be confident about their action tests. I don't feel like they've hit that many greens, but also I feel like they just have avoided trying to hit like these tough green banana splits or green purloins. Um, they're just playing slowly, and I feel like they're just not seeing as many options uh, as they hopefully could against somebody who's seeing everything, as all-seeing
Minute and
sniper.
15 to play. This is usually around the time where you want to be setting up to finish your second mission. Or finishing your second mission. There's the second flirt coming off. We haven't
They're
been
hitting
to
green.
statues yet.
And there is a fingerprintable statue, at least one of them. So we do have a way to potentially do soft missions. We
Yeah,
would
but we
need
have to
to go
find another
now.
fingerprint after that.
Yeah, we would have to go now. Like, and I think Ambassador might have just picked up the statue I was thinking of.
45 seconds to play. Here's our statue visit. We're finally in here. So this, I think, has to be a swap, and it's not even going to finish missions. We do get the swap off on the green. So that's something at least. That's a chance.
Laser's sitting on us as we're doing the inspects. It's going to be a green swap. They're not going to see a swap just now. But the next person either needs to be very non-suspicious and for it not to be checked, or somehow more suspicious than us and get shot. I don't know if
Banana
that's
bread.
possible. We're doing a flirt to cover our...
We just did a fake contact in with the real DA.
So Lowlight, who's going to be doing the swap,
Swap
we
has
might
come
have a
off.
good cover
Swap
here
has come
too.
off. Adam hasn't seen it yet. There's the turnaround. There's the shot. And there is the match. Adafheyesh is the one who's able to get the promotion.
I mean, if you said that it was going to be Adafheyesh at the beginning of the season, you're not alone. I believe that was the popular prediction for this division. If you told me, though, that Adafheyesh was going to be able to shoot Dampsquib 12, 14 times in a row in their time in this division, that would have surprised me. Just absolutely incredibly solid sniper. Didn't really feel like a crazy amount of stress, so we didn't really have a crazy tense game. And while I think a part of that is Dampsquib just not finding the plays as often as you'd like to see, I think that's also just Adafheyesh just not highlighting people and not getting tunneled on things. Just really showing just some crazy amount of nerve that you'll see from other snipers, but at a much higher level than what this was. This is Obsidian 2. I think people who are now going to have to deal with Adafheyesh and SCL, he's going to move up to Obsidian 1, should be a bit intimidated, but you can't be nervous. Otherwise, you will just crumble.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
was a
I mean,
great
really
match.
from both players. I mean, Dampsquib's sniper was also very much on point. And
Yeah,
any criticism.
literally the only blip was that first shaky game on the first venue we played. It was just a slow start on Aquarium, and that's what made all the difference. It was snipers all the
feel
way
it
down
so
from
much
there.
too. I've had so many sets where I've been playing really well and felt really good for the most of the set, but lost the first game, and those sets just suck because it's like, well, okay, can we have a bit of warm up? Can you give me can you give me 10 minutes before you start cyberbullying me? So I feel for Dampsquib. Both players played really well.